Welcome back, everybody, to the DC New 52 review. I want to thank you for tuning into another episode. I am your host, Paulie DC, and let's get into another one of these things. Today, I will review Birds of Prey Vol. 1. It was titled Trouble in Mind, and it was written by Duane Swierczynski, with art by Jesus Saiz, and the first 7 issues were released between November 2011 to May of 2012. The titular team was thought up first by Jordan B. Gorfinkel and debuted in 1996's Black Canary / Oracle Birds of Prey #1 by Chuck Dixon. They've gone on to have many adventures and crossovers. The team usually consists of female warrior and fighter types like Manhunter, Kate Spencer, and Grace Choi, who never made the New 52, and others like Lady Blackhawk and Batwoman, who were elsewhere in the event. This opening roster includes Dinah Lance, the second Black Canary, and she was created in the Justice League of America #219 in October 1983 by Dennis O'Neil and Dick Dillon. In another series called Team 7, which I'll review down the line, her last name was actually Drake originally, indicating that her mother was Dinah Drake, the first original Black Canary, minus the famous Canary Cry power. Miss Lance has been a Justice League member and lover to Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, but spoiler, doesn't get involved with either of those in the New 52. Batgirl doesn't need much of an introduction. I will cover her more as I proceed into her solo series, so that takes us to newcomer original creation Evelyn Crawford, aka Starling. Hardly a bird of prey, but okay, I guess neither is a canary or a bat. Anyway, the other member is Tatsu Yamashiro, later Tatsu Toro, better known as Katana, appearing first in July 1983's The Brave and the Bold #200 by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aldo. She wields a soul-taking sword called, Soul Taker, and has also been a Justice League member, part of Batman's Outsiders, and even a Suicide Squad enforcer. Another part-time member would also join the ranks, so let's see who that was. Issue #1 opens the plot with what would turn out to be a 7-part mystery that first involves Gotham Gazette reporter Charlie Keene in a very Gotham-looking church, first telling an unknown source that he doesn't want to spy on the titular team anymore, which at the moment only consists of hard-bitten espionage type Starling, who ends up saving Keene from getting whacked over his recent decision in a car straight out of Batman the Animated Series. And then we've got Black Canary, first seen taking on a bunch of invisible suit-wearing goons called Cleaners, all while one of them attempts to hang her. You idiots have these cutting-edge stealth tech suits, and you fight with daggers? Starling is seen killing one of the Cleaners next, so let's not worry about morals early on, and then Black Canary has to use her Canary Cry ability to clear a path to her partner as they escape with Keene and one of the Cleaners that kisses Black Canary after an unsettling remark, and thank goodness Starling crashes through some doors, bringing that encounter to an end. Charlie is given the rundown on how the two ladies knew he was following them, so they decided to find out who hired him, first by Starling bugging his phone in a bar that he watched her in one night, don't ask me how, and then with no new leads or info they decided to follow him, and now he wants to work for them. They're not having it though, and instead he is taken to Gotham Airport to be removed from the city, only to implode after Black Canary heard a low-pitched tingly noise. Didn't see that one coming the first time I read this book. There was also a quick scene of Dinah meeting with Barbara Gordon where we get the first quick mention of Miss Lance being wanted for murder. Barbara also turns down her offer to join the team cold, but does suggest Katana as a candidate. P.S. I wish that these two got better chemistry in the first volume here. Even if it was bad energy between them, it could have had a plot to go with it. And I say that because even as the series went on, no promises in me saying that their relationship gets any better. With the mix of background and origins that both of them had in this New 52 event, it's hard to even pinpoint how they actually became friends. It gets real wonky. Issue number 2 begins in Japan with Katana killing some people, so let's not worry about morals early on, and she is seen speaking to the consciousness of her dead husband within her blade, deciding to head to Gotham on his request. We never actually see him speak, but you know, she says he is in there. Back in Gotham, Black Canary and Starling are still extremely shell-shocked from Charlie's abrupt end, but they're still able to obtain some evidence and pull a fast one on some security guards to escape them in one of those golf cart looking vehicles that apparently can't go more than 15 miles per hour. And even after crashing outside, then we see that it's not shown how they actually get off the airport. Seriously though, how could they do it? Anyone? Anyhow, 3 days later they have gotten info on the DNA evidence from one of Ev's many sources, neuroscientist Trevor Cahill, who is conveniently in Gotham, and he meets with Dinah to tell her that trace amounts of an experimental stroke drug were among his findings that can work by having phrases spoken to the user in simple terms. Katana is also officially welcomed to the team and proves useful right away after the three breach the last of 5 labs stocking the drug of interest that hasn't been robbed, leading into a big fight with more of the cleaners. After some stabbing, shooting, and canary screeching goes down, one cleaner is taken hostage by them so he can be taken to the other newest member, Pamela Isley, better known as Poison Ivy. She's been around since 1966's Batman number 181, created by Robert Kanigher and Sheldon Moldoff, and this position she's in begins a roller coaster of anti-hero and antagonistic stints throughout the New 52, with her look being part plant organism thanks to the green. Check out my Swamp Thing Vol.1 for more on that. Issue number 3 has Katana and Starling seriously questioning Black Canary's choice to recruit Poison Ivy, leading into a fight, of course. You gotta chuckle at Dinah's response too, kinda like a pissed mom at some teens. Starling ends up forcing the fight to halt, and then Ivy takes the chance to do her plant seduction pheromone thing to get the captured cleaner to elicit some information, but he then starts to recite the Little Tommy Tucker nursery rhyme to trigger himself to implode like Mr. Keene did. Why is it always nursery rhymes? Well, maybe because the Roud Folk Song Index has about 250,000 to choose from. Poison Ivy then shows how useful she is by shielding them all and protecting them from the blast, but she then has to retire to the woods to heal, while the rest of the team tracks down some intel provided by the recently departed cleaner. And this elicits information on 2 new targets located at Gotham train station, because every espionage mystery story has to have a moving train scene. The whole team board a train to track down their 2 targets, Keith and Michael, but multiple cleaners are aboard and they can also disguise themselves as other people somehow, which allows them to get the drop on Poison Ivy, but not so much Katana, as just a bit of fighting goes down before a voice in Dinah's head tells her to call them off or she will implode, thanks to being infected by the guy who molested her in issue number 1. Why did it have to be in that manner? You couldn't have had her injected with something or breathe in a gas, just anything else. Issue number 4 starts with Black Canary being told the bird scarer nursery rhyme, appropriate, right? And she's about to make the noble choice of train diving instead of imploding on board, but Starling stops and knocks her out, breaking a hand in the process. Almost the rest of the entire issue is then explained to her through flashbacks by Ev after waking up in the care of Trevor Cahill, who deprogrammed her mind from any further danger. She's told about Katana murdering many cleaners, surely traumatizing a child in the process, and on the way to supporting Poison Ivy, Starling was fooled by a cleaner, resulting in a stab, which is why her shoulder is damaged. Also, due to the train conductor being out of commission, Ivy had to pull some more plot armor, plant matter out to rescue the whole vessel full of people. She then went on to interrogate a cleaner. Why the hell do they all look the exact same? Seriously, they look like the exact same person. Whatever. The 2 men, Keith and Michael, are obtained, and it's found out through them that the mastermind behind things is someone called Choke, and his plans for his mind-controlled people is quite similar to Jim Carrey's The Riddler in Batman Forever, except Choke wants soldiers most. Current time is then jumped to, and Batgirl showing up to storm one of Choke's secret hideouts. Why did she randomly change her mind now when seemingly so against it earlier? This isn't the first time Black Canary almost got killed since you two last spoke. I don't know and I don't care. Starling breaks down the plan to the ladies as they all sneak into a building from different spots, only to find themselves surrounded by empty cleaner suits, and then the sound of Choke's voice is heard, which mind wipes them as next thing they know, they are outside, minus Batgirl. Issue number 5 packs a lot into its pages, and things get rather complicated. One thing that doesn't make the most sense is Starling has no broken hand or stab wound. Oh boy, what happened here? It definitely took place. Did you imagine it? It's not stated that was the case. Oh boy. While a group of mercenary goons tries to take them down, failing poorly, the ladies have varying memories on what went down in Choke's lair, all being slightly different, and then once done with the mercs, they have to split up due to cops. Plans are made to meet later at an address seen written down by Ivy, who is later seen in the woods with some corporate-looking type discussing her status on the team and her receiving a briefcase that she does a Pulp Fiction peek into. Black Canary quickly meets up with Batgirl, who again claims she ain't gonna join the team, total rubbish, and afterward Tatsu meets up with Dinah early at her supposedly hidden dojo. A tad invasive and creepy, don't you think? But they spar a bit while a recent boyfriend of Dinah's is mentioned, which I have no clue who this was referencing. Next, Starling is seen visiting some girl named June, who I'm pretty sure we never see again. Also, she makes the third callback to her Uncle Earl, who gets talked about more as the title goes on, and he sounds like one hell of a guy. Fun fact, George Perez did art for an issue where we'd see him, but it was scrapped. Moving on to the confusing ending, Black Canary discovers why Choke is mind-controlling people, which I thought was already established and firmly covered last issue, but okay. The team plus Batgirl, this is getting silly, especially since her together with Poison Ivy and being cool with her is a big stretch with all the crap she's put Batman through. They've all showed up to a cane building like instructed earlier, except Ev goes to a bridge instead due to tinkered memories by Choke, and a Spec Ops crew is there waiting to attack her. Issue number 6 gives a big middle finger to the previous cliffhanger, since Starling is seen 2 pages in with 2 minor wounds that she got when taking her bridge dive and escaping the people who tried to take her out by simply swimming away. You'd think if they were going to ambush someone on a bridge, maybe have some people down in the water. Anywho, Starling is pissed that Choke messed with her mind, putting her in that situation, so with the rest of the team, they've been grabbing targets of Choke, healthy business types, with the latest being a Brendan Bowman, who Dinah had set up to be questioned, but he hauls ass, logically to a police station, but obviously not, instead heading to work where apparently Katana is tasked to grab him hostage, but we don't get to see it. Now in the lady's possession, Katana almost chops him up, Poison Ivy scares the piss out of him, and Batgirl, making her 20th unexplained appearance, sticks him with a needle, saying his last name is Hill, but I thought it was Bowman. Trevor Cahill is seen to be helping the team with deprogramming people they've rescued, and then after some debate, Brendan is used as bait to lure Choke out, which happens in no time with him going to his job and his co-workers, now brainwashed, reciting the King of France went up the hill and a carrion crow sat on a oak nursery rhyme, and at first things look overwhelming, but apparently Black Canary planned for it all. Did you though? Issue number 7 ends this book with the team being attacked by over a dozen people under Choke's command. Black Canary and Katana do their thing, but Poison Ivy is the first to kill someone, which gets Dinah to state rule number 1 for the birds of prey. Don't kill. I'm sorry, excuse me for that. Black Canary and Poison Ivy start to fight until Brendan shows that he wasn't quite as cured as he seemed, beginning to say the Bye Baby Bunteen nursery rhyme, so finally, a canary cry is used to subdue everyone, Ivy included. Batgirl and Starling were with Trevor during all that, having somehow discerned that he is choke and just needed to catch him in the act. However, he's ready with not a nursery rhyme, but the I have a little sister riddle that brings Starling on his side, going on to shoot Batgirl in the arm, which is an injury that we never see her nursing in her solo series if my memory treats me well, but then she's able to take Starling down, and with Black Canary, chases down Trevor. Once he's nabbed, Batgirl is told how Black Canary knew he was bad and how she figured it out, which is super thin. The dude could have been an overachiever in his field and wanted to help eagerly because he wanted to sleep with Dinah like every other man in this volume. Distasteful, yes. Surprising, no. Maybe the fact that he never summoned a single colleague to look into what the ladies brought him, or he didn't alert all government agencies that would have been interested in an experimental drug that can turn people into mind-controlled time bombs, those were bigger indicators. Barbara then tries to tell Dinah that Ev has been compromised, but she's not having it, saying that she trusts her most right now, which pisses Batgirl off. I mean, you haven't exactly been too stellar if we're being honest. A couple hours later, Trevor is brought to a sewer for interrogation, which goes just terribly as he reveals he knows Black Canary is wanted for murder. Not only that, it's for her own husband. Whoa. The I had a little nut tree nursery rhyme is then spoken next, sending Poison Ivy into a phase of suffering. And then Trevor takes control of Starling again, causing her to pull her trusty pistol, and after shooting starts, Katana takes the initiative of lopping Trevor's head off. Things then completely fall apart, with the ladies resulting in insults, quitting, and Dinah needing a hug from Batgirl. However, that moment is broken up by Tatsu calling to alert them that Trevor wasn't choke because her dead husband's soul can speak to others that she killed with her sword. Did I already mention that? Yeah, that's a thing. More importantly though, I've been calling the wrong guy choke this whole time. True. Alright. As far as the plot goes, this one was a bit of a slow burner opposed to many others that had the high-octane starts. It was a confusing mystery coupled with sort of getting to know the main players who are a bit one-dimensional. Poison Ivy, evil and has a secret agenda. Katana, stoic and dangerous. Black Canary, attractive and confused. Starling got the most personality, being sharp-tongued, sneaky, deadly, but it's also hard to tell if she's Southern or Cajun. I just thought a more intensely jarring story with some emotional notes mixed in would have done these ladies some big early favors. They've all had experiences with serious loss and trauma. There was lots of individual attention that could have been utilized immediately. One thing is for sure. Having the team end up as pretty much puppets on an unseen adversary string was a precarious choice if you ask me. The art is solid from beginning to end. Obviously with a title starring female characters, there's gonna be a focus on facial detail, and I like how the ladies' noses, eyes, and mouths are accentuated with hardly more than 3 or more lines and curves needed. There was no unnecessary sexualization of the cast, which is always a plus. Starling did seem to have trouble finding shirts that covered her entire upper half, but hey, maybe she just wanted to show off those tattoos. Moving on to the dialogue, well, actually there wasn't that much. Letterer Carlos Mangual wasn't given the biggest script, it would appear, and honestly, not much to say on it. Nothing too exceptional, nothing to really poke fun at. The only thing that I will quickly mention is that I did kind of get irked when Starling's eyes went from brown in the earlier issues to blue in the later ones, but that's just me nitpicking. So, I will say now, if you have watched until the end, I want to thank you personally for that, and to please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow me on all my social media platforms, and to please join me next time for the Red Lanterns Volume 1.